Hello everyone, my name is Yoshimitsu, and welcome to the Japanese lore of Dark Souls. As the title implies, I will be referring to the original Japanese text over the translated English text. If there are any discrepancies between the versions, I will always take what the original Japanese states as fact. I take this approach as many lore elements have been lost due to translation, and I'm hoping that I can bring some answers to long-debated and unanswered lore questions, and bring some new theories as well. Let's begin. Serpent people and dragon people made their way to the land of the East. This is the theory that I present. First, there are a number of countries that are known as the land of the East. Vengarl states, I was born in Forosa. It's a land in the distant east. And Lucatiel states, I am called Lucatiel from the land of Mira to the far east, across the mountains. And Benhart, who hails from Jugo, states, my homeland is in the far east, a kingdom of honorable fighting men. The countries of Forosa, Mira, and Jugo are eastern lands. But these three are not the eastern lands that I would like to discuss. The eastern land that I would like to discuss is the land of the east, where the katanas are forged. The Uchigatana reads, a unique katana characterized by the fine craftsmanship of an eastern land where it was forged. The finely sharpened blade cuts flesh like butter and causes bleeding, but breaks easily as a result. Now there are other weapons that were also forged in the same eastern land. The Iaito reads, katana forged in an eastern land. The katana is drawn from the scabbard at lightning speed, using an Iaijutsu technique. Iaijutsu allows the wielder to charge forward to swiftly cut down distant foes. And the washing pole reads, katana forged in an eastern land, very unusual specimen with a long blade. The blade is extremely long, but as a result, quite easily broken. And the murakumo, giant curved sword forged using special methods in an eastern land. This unparalleled weapon cuts like a katana, but is heavier than a nata machete, requires extreme strength, dexterity, and stamina to wield. All three weapons, the Iaito, the washing pole, and the murakumo, were all forged in an eastern land. And the murakumo is a weapon that is wielded by Shiva, whom we meet in the Dark Root Garden. Shiva is also from the east. When we meet Shiva, he states, I am Shiva of the East, captain of the brigade. And Shiva of the East is from the land of the East. His eastern armor reads, distinctive armor made in an eastern land. The exquisite craftsmanship and artistic design made these prize pieces in the collection of any nobleman. Offers excellent damage absorption, particularly from slashing katanas, which are commonly encountered threats in battles fought in the East. Sir Alon, who served the Old Iron King, is also from this land of the East. Alon's armor reads, armor worn by Sir Alon, who served the Old Iron King. Sir Alon came to this land from the East, chose to serve a little-known and unestablished lord, and helped him become the Old Iron King. The armor of Shiva and the armor of Alon are from an eastern land, and I assume is from the same eastern land where the katanas are forged. Now, as I've stated at the beginning of this video, I believe a number of snake people and dragon people made their way to this eastern land. Snake people, or serpent people, are found throughout different locations, such as Sen's Fortress and Archdragon Peak. Arc Dragon Peak is Koryu no Itadaki in Japanese. Koryu translates to ancient dragon. Itadaki translates to summit or apex. Arc Dragon Peak could be called the summit of the ancient dragon. Now to reach the Arc Dragon Peak, one must use the gesture, Path of the Dragon. This gesture is called Koryu no Michi. Koryu translates to ancient dragon. Michi translates to path. The path to the ancient dragons. In this gesture that is used to reach the Arc Dragon Peak, the gesture itself is a zazen, and zazen is the meditation practice of Zen Buddhism. Zen Buddhism, a form of Buddhism that is practiced in Japan. Now within this area are the serpent men mediums, who use the mendicant staff. The mendicant staff reads, a staff with a small bowl attached to the tip, similar to a mendicant's crook, absorb additional souls from fallen foes. The staff's history is unclear. It may be a relic of an ancient serpent's greed, or a ritual artifact used to summon souls. Mendicant is a term used to describe religious mendicancy, when a Buddhist monk, for the purpose of training, goes around and stands in front of a house with a bowl reciting sutras to receive rice and money alms. This is a practice that is practiced by Buddhist monks in Japan. The helmets these mendicant serpent men wear, visually speaking, they look quite similar to the helmets worn by those from the East. Comparing the mendicant serpent's helmet and the helmet of Shiva of the East and the helmet of Sir Alan, the three of them look quite similar to each other, as all three helmets have multiple eyes or eye slots. And near these mendicant serpent men is a bonfire called the Dragonkin Mausoleum. Dragonkin Mausoleum is Ryujin no Reibyo in Japanese. Reibyo translates to mausoleum. Ryujin translates to dragon people. The bonfire should be called the Mausoleum of the Dragon People. And these Ryujin, the dragon people, this term indicates some form of dragon people existed in the world of Dark Souls. And this brings me to the character creation screen description for the Serpentine Traveler. The Serpentine Traveler reads, an uncommon face, defined by its narrow eyes and thin lips. Some praise it as the visage of a true dragon. The description of the Serpentine Traveler is 切れ長の細い目と薄い唇が特徴的な偉人の顔. Now this portion is very similar to the description of the Far East Traveler. The Far East Traveler reads, face from a distant eastern land of almond eyes and thin lips. So this description, はるか東の地の面相、切れ長の細い目と薄い唇に特徴がある. And this description is quite similar to the Serpentine Traveler. はるか東の地の面相 translates to a face from a distant eastern land. 切れ長の細い目 translates as sharp narrow eyes or almond eyes. 薄い唇 translates to thin lips. In Japanese, the Far East Traveler and the Serpentine Traveler both use the exact same wording to describe the features. Now the term Serpentine Traveler is Hebi no Ijingao in Japanese. Hebi translates as snake or serpent. Ijin is translated as foreigner, outsider, stranger, and kao is face. The term Far East Traveler is Higashi no Ijingao in Japanese. Higashi translates as the East. Ijin, again, is foreigner, outsider, or stranger. And kao is face. Now what's interesting is the term visage of a true dragon is Ryu no Ijingao in Japanese. Ryu translates as dragon. Ijin and Kao are the same terms used from before for the Eastern traveler and the Serpentine traveler. The way visage of a true dragon is written in Japanese is the same way Serpentine traveler and Far East traveler are written in Japanese. The Far East traveler is Higashi no Ijingao, a foreign face of the East. The Serpentine traveler is Hebi no Ijingao, a foreign face of a serpent. And visage of a true dragon is Ryu no Ijingao, a foreign face of a dragon. All three use the same wording to describe their facial features. Kirenaga no hosoi me to usui kuchibiru, sharp almond eyes with thin lips. And this is the features used to describe those from the East, and those who are serpentine, and those who are of a dragon. And this brings me back to the theory I presented at the beginning. I believe a number of snake people and dragon people made their way to this land of the East. And it also wouldn't surprise me if an ancient dragon had made its way to this land of the East, in a similar way to how the Sakura dragon in Sekiro traveled to Ashina from the west. Thanks for watching, everyone. Please let me know what you think of my theory in the comments. And until we meet again in my next video, don't you dare go hollow, my friends.